And I've been going at it for an hour or so with no recording, so I thought I'd turn it on.
You get some content.
We got plenty of content. We put out one video a day. Yeah. Now we're counting in the hundreds. There's probably 1,100 or so videos. So we've got
Yeah.
lots of. But this is also valuable for the students to go back and review it. That way they don't have to take notes and furiously think that they're going to miss something. That in fact is best done repetitively. That anything that's good you would enjoy enough to do it again and again and again and again. And so that's where Dhamma comes in. In fact, that's a major part of the practice, is getting really familiar with it by repeating it over and over again and seeing it from various viewpoints until you get a really deep understanding that almost everything that you've ever learned so far is a bunch of crap and you've been lied to. And so we begin with the very thoughts of looking at this particular thought that we have right now with an idea of how could I improve this thought? And one of the ways that we can improve a thought is by throwing it out and having a different thought. And that one of the criteria that we use for whether a thought is wholesome and worthwhile having or not is that the thought we're having, does that have anything to do with either what's happening right here, right now, or things that are universally happening all the time, like the Dhamma? So if we're talking about Dhamma, or if we're talking about what's happening right here, right now, then we're guaranteed to be talking wholesome. If I start telling you stories about what happened last year, we're getting into shaky territory now. All right. If we start talking about what's happening way out yonder someplace, we're getting into shaky territory. So the past and the future and other places are all different than being right here, right now. And that's what we're beginning to train because our whole society has been teaching us from early childhood the concept of delayed gratification. And it's grilled into us. And when we are experiencing delayed gratification in the Dhamma, the Buddha talks about that as just being a dumb draft animal, just doing what you were told to do because you're not smart enough to figure out you're being used.
You mean instant gratification or delayed gratification?
We're talking about the difference between delayed gratification and instant gratification. In fact, the only kind of instant gratification there is mental. Okay, you can change your attitude from being not gratified into being gratified, and there you've got it. We're looking for instant gratification. To be in the here now is gratifying. So if you come into the here now, you're immediately practicing that. This is what Anapanasati is all about. Is feeling safe, secure, comfortable, satisfied, and successful. And with that, you could find there's the gratification, as opposed to the gratification of sensual desires in the sense of seeing something, liking it, wanting it, grasping and reaching for it. And then when you finally get it, after all of that effort, now you can feel satisfied and gratified, but only for a very short time. And now you've got to keep it. So now it's become precious because you're afraid to lose it. And then you do lose it. And now you feel all sad and in grief and everything. Oh, poor me, I lost what I had worked so hard to get. And that's the cycle that we get caught up with in everything that we own. So it better not to own stuff because the ownership and the control of stuff is, in fact, the way that we handle or the way that we create our dukkha. Now, where I'm speaking from is the concept of paticca samuppada or dependent origination, but it's also part of the anapanasati practice to reverse all of that and to turn it around and say, I can think wholesome thoughts. I can gladden the mind, or brighten the mind, or just change the mind. That's the whole point, is can you change your mind? Now, in the West, we're not supposed to change our mind. You're a flip-flopper. You're no politician at all. First you say you're this, and then you say you're that, and off they go into all of this wild blue yammer. And the whole point about, if you're going to grow and change, you have to change. And so the Buddhist model is a change model, to come out of the past and be who you are right here, right now, in this present moment, which is actually quite nice if you pay attention to it.
Yeah, when you have these thoughts, or when you're experiencing like these states, these kind of like
Who, me?
negative states. Well, when
You're
I'm
talking about the.
experiencing myself in third person, yeah, definitely not me. I don't do this at all. But when you're in like, if you're experiencing like these delusional states or whatever, these negative states, you are like creating the thought, or you are putting the wholesome thoughts, like you are like pushing them, or how to say it, like you're like, I'm experiencing something negative, and I am consciously making wholesome thoughts. That kind of, is that supposed to like wash away the negative stuff, is that gonna like?
Let me give you an example. Think of the color red. You know what the color red looks like?
I do.
All right. Think of the color green. Do you know what green looks like?
I do.
Okay. Is red and green the same thing, or are they different?
They're different.
You can tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay, congratulate you. I congratulate you right now. You can change your mind. You changed it from red to green.
But even if it's like so strongly rooted red, like it's red all the
You
time, and
can
then I
still
think,
change it to green. When you say it's so strongly rooted in red, that's the loser's mentality of, oh, poor me, I can't change my mind from red to green. What a silly little child thinks that. And we start doing that when we're little children. Oh, poor me, I can't change. And we get stuck in a really bad habit for the rest of our lives. And you can change. You can't change your mind from the color red to the color green. And it happens really fast, in about a tenth of a second, much faster than than it takes me to say it. Okay, so now you can also understand that red and green is also the whole point about, can you change the mind from unwholesome thoughts to wholesome thoughts? Not saying red is always unwholesome, but sometimes. I'm not saying that green is always wholesome, but sometimes. And so if you can change your mind from red to green, then you can change your mind from unwholesome to wholesome. Like, poor me, this is hard. I really cling to red, is what you said. Okay, that's an unwholesome thought right there. See that as an unwholesome thought and say, wait a minute, I can change my mind. And that would be a wholesome thought.
yeah, there is a lot of clinging to red. It's a lot of comfort in redness. It's really hard to get out of it, and well, it takes a lot of
but you
effort, so to say.
but you already want out of it. So you've got that part of it on your side. The question now is, can you do it? Can you see that there is this resistance in there called, oh, poor me, I can't change? And recognize that you can change even that.
Yeah, it's like I was watching you talk with Rob, and there is this like resistance. There is this like actual attachment to like, you should not feel good. You should be feeling like this, and you have to do something to be able to feel good. Or you have to.
Oh, it's so common. That's how we control our children. You know, a little child that's got absolutely no control winds up being a barbarian or a Donald Trump or something. And so we are put under this pressure of control, and much of it comes from school. And so they have, by civilizing you, have forced you into a mold that you don't have to remain fitting into, that you have a choice to come out of that mold. But you have to kind of see where you're molded. And that's what the unwholesome thoughts are now, is begin to see how you are molded, like, oh, I can't change from red to green, is the way that you were molded. And once you see that, then you can say, hot dog, I see that. I see you, Myra. And now you can gladden your mind. And what is the gladdening of the mind right here? Is, but I can change from red to green. Watch me do it. Aha. And that aha then is the Sama Sankappa. That I can congratulate myself because I can change from red to green. And here I thought I was stuck in not being able to change. That's the Sanapanasati in the beginning. Over and over and over, we do those four things. We take a look, recognize that it's unwholesome, we change it, and then we congratulate ourselves for changing it. This is right there, the Eightfold Noble Path of the Buddha. But you have to recognize that you don't want to change. You have to see that, and you have to make friends with it, because that otherwise will become your enemy, which would just be more unwholesome thoughts.
Is the part of you that keeps like resisting and doesn't want to change, is that just to be, is that like the, oh aha, I see this part of me that doesn't want to change, and then you keep the creating the green wholesomeness, you know?
More likely, though, that when you are resisting and holding on, you're holding your breath. And this is why we want to practice anapanasati, in the sense of remembering to take a long, deep breath and start breaking up some of the chemical stuff that's associated with our 2-year-old no. No, I don't. No, I can't do that. No, mommy, I am not going to crap in that potty right now. I'll grunt and I'll strain and I'll make sure that you understand how hard I'm working, but you do not get a turd from me now. And so basically, we're talking about potty training right now for the mind. So look at those no's that you keep putting up with and keep putting up, and start changing the no to a yes, I can. Watch me do it. I can feel good. I can feel strong. I can feel capable.
Yeah. Yes, I was going to say, so I was in a retreat a couple of weeks ago, one of Goenka's Vipassana things, and I came out of that and I was back in I live with a lot of people right now, like a commune, so to say. And what I notice is that when I'm around people is that,
Yes, I noticed the furnishings behind you, the wood.
yeah,
Yeah, I've already noticed that.
it's not a studio apartment thing, you know. Uh, yeah, I noticed that when I'm
It's
around people,
downright cathedral like.
yeah, it's monastic like. um, yes, when I'm like surrounded by a lot of people, is that what I notice is the appearances, so to say, the feeling. Like I notice like all of this separation and all these separate presences, and it's like when I go through that and see it all, and then when I go to sit, let's say later in the day, like do sitting meditation, like what I notice is like it's literally like just watching a TV show, you know. And when I was in the retreat for a little bit, or 3 or 4 days into it, all that started to like simmer down, and I started to like go. I felt like I was going more. I could see more. Like I don't know, like fun, like deeper roots, or these patterns that are under these layers of seeing people all the time, and all of the talk and the noise and the, blah 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 conversations, that you have. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. And yet the going deeper part is delusional. That in fact, what's really going on is repeating over and over again, and you're seeing patterns, and you're
Yeah.
beginning to pick up on those patterns. All right. That means then that if we're picking up on these patterns, that we can begin to make some changes to these patterns. But we have to see the patterns first, and then we can make some improvements to these patterns. And which improvements you make is up to you in the present moment when you see the patterns happening again.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations for being able to see the patterns already. You're beginning to pick up on these patterns, these habits that people have. They do the same things over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so what my job is to pick up on those patterns fairly quickly.
I'm gonna get out of here, but
Ian,
just
thank you so much. This has been a delightful. I'm glad that we got going. I hope I've been watching you smile, so I know that you've heard all of this before. This is a good review for you.
it's just great. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here and happy to be in this
Yes.
space of changing mindset. And yeah,
Right.
it's just so nice.
All right.
Talk to y'all later.
See you, man.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Already.
So, yeah, that's it. Take a breath. Because we were just about to talk about that again, is that when we're in the habit of saying no, we actually stop breathing. And so mindfully breathing means that I'm going to be going with the breathing. I'm going to keep breathing deeply. And by doing that, deep breathing, we actually are bringing more oxygen in. So we're actually oxygenating the body. But when we're saying no, and when we're frightened and afraid, we get into compressing things. We also can call that freezing up. And because we get solidified, we get solid about that no, and it actually affects our body chemistry. And so one of the things that we're going to counteract is start taking good, deep, long breaths, and that will give us a possibility of opening our mind, because we just opened our mind and take it off the no into taking a breath. And already we've changed the mind from red to green by just remembering to take a breath. And so as we breathe in, we can recognize, oh, I don't have to think about red right now. And on the out breath, we could just relax. Why, that's over. And that's how fast, in one breath, you can come from a state of anxiety and full of red, thinking that you can't get rid of it, into being completely in the green.
Is the conscious breathing, is that something you're always doing, or just when you're going to sit?
I don't work with the word always. I work with the way
When you remember.
When you remember.
Okay. Okay.
And so practice remembering. So that
Yeah,
you
not
remember.
always. That's yes. When I remember, even if I'm not in a red state, and I remember I'm not like remembering. I'm not. It's just I feel quite fine. And do I still do is the breathing still happening? Or is it only when you're coming out of red, or only when you notice that it's red, or the red color is?
I wouldn't make any strong connections like that,
Okay.
because now you're looking for something that you may not find and you get confused. A better way of doing it is to remember to take a long, deep breath and recognize that that is already taking your mind off of whatever red that you had. And so this is part of the Anapanasati. That's basically why it's step one. By taking that breath, that gives us a chance to analyze what the mind has been doing. But you've already changed it. So now you're in reprehensible or in the past just a little bit, but only a partial of a second. So that you can reflect. Look at that. I just came out of that red. Okay.
You're reflecting on the red stuff that just happened.
Yeah,
like
you're reflecting on the red with that relief of, oh, I'm glad I don't have to do that. Red.
Okay.
Wow, I'm glad I'm in the green now and I don't have to do that red anymore. All right. So that's changing the unwholesome into the wholesome. And we practice doing that over and over and over again whenever we remember it. And about every second, you have another chance to do that. But I wouldn't recommend that you demand of yourself to do it full time, because you'll only give yourself a bunch of disappointment, and that's what we're trying to get rid of anyway.
Yeah.
So don't put expectations and goals into what you're going to do in the future. Rather enjoy what you're doing right now.
So I don't know. I feel like that's not true. Like that can't be true or something. Like this guy, it's just something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I can just enjoy the.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't feel true. It's like a belief.
Okay. In psychology, they generally classify it as one of the three P's, or perhaps a combination of the three P's. Three P's is protection, permission, and potency. In other words, the potency is you're not able to do it. You're not capable of doing it. Okay. Protection would be, oh, if I did feel good, something terrible will happen.
Yeah, that's
And,
mostly
and
reason.
And the third one is that you feel like that, oh, I can't do that because I'm not supposed to. And in that case, all you need is permission. Permission is okay for you to feel good. You have the power to feel good, and nothing's going to happen to you if you do feel good, other than you're feeling good. That's the outcome of feeling good, is more feeling good.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because something bad will happen, because something bad did happen when I did feel good, and then
Yeah, but it's not happening right now, is it? You can feel you're sitting here with me in the church, and you're feeling really good right now, and not a thing is happening to you. So you can feel good. And nothing bad will happen. It happened one time, but you made a connection then, and not looking at all the new connections that are happening now. We dropped out a second. So what I just said is that you made one connection then, and now you're clinging to that past one without looking at all the new connections now. And you have many, many opportunities to see that you do not get punished because you're happy. That happened when you were a child, and you made that decision, and now you can change it. And that's part of the clinging to the red. You're not supposed to look what will happen if you actually start thinking green. And the answer is, we've got green. That's what happens. So you have my permission. We're already working on the point about, do you think that you can do it or not? Are you going to be the victim saying, no, I can't do it? Or are you going to get your mojo together and get the power that you can make a change? And can you make that change right now? Can you take the right effort right now to say, yes, I can? Be happy right now.
It feels so unnatural. It's crazy, but I feel like there's so much comes up when I do it. It just starts to like emerge like that. Even just thinking, like really, really believing I can, it just starts to emerge.
Okay. Well, that's what we're doing here, is that we're giving you the confidence that you can, in fact, do this. Because you've been wallowing around in the misery and the pity party that, oh, you can't do it, while you're saying deeper inside, yes, you can. Otherwise, why would you have ever done a Goenka retreat? Caught ya. So this is just an old learned behavior that you had that's preventing you from doing what you really want to do.
Yes, because I thought in the Goenka retreat, if I bring up something and well, certain things did definitely come out in some sense, but I thought that it was a lot of these what he often referred to as sanskars, or these deep-rooted things that were they were the root cause of what was creating
We've
my
already
negative
been
state.
talking. We've already been talking about the sandcars that are creating the negative states. What Goenka didn't tell you was you've got a choice to change that crap right now. To see that stuff and to yank it out by the root and throw it down and stomp on it happily. Ha ha, Red, I got you. All right, that's the right effort that's often missing in these practices. The right effort to do something about it once you see these sankaras. Who's got who by the throat now? Anyway, are you going to have the sankaras got you by the throat, or are you going to have them by the throat? That's the question.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, there's many, many things that are missing in various practices, but the Eightfold Noble Path has these things. If we understand it correctly, we have to change our attitude. The attitude is to change from, oh, poor me, I can't change, I can't do it, into the attitude of, yes, I can do it. I am capable of it, just like the Buddha. I am a Buddha inside. That's the way you begin to think. Is it sure? If he could do it, you could do it. It's only human. We've got all the genes that we need to do it. The question is, are we going to throw out the garbage to make things light enough so that we can fly?
Even when there's so much. Every time you speak like that, and I really listen. Truly, I can watch my mind just be like, you can't, like, that's not, like, that's not true. Like, don't. This guy is just trying to fuck with you. This guy's just messing with you. He's just a troll. Like, don't believe it. I can see it all happening. It's
Well,
weird.
yes, but you also are not reading this out of a book. You're seeing me give you this as an
Yeah.
example. So you can, in fact, when you look at it from the reality of the situation, rather than the old lies that you have been told that you're not good enough. And I'm giving you permission to change that you are good enough. You can do it. You do have the power. And nothing bad's going to happen to you. And you have permission. All the permission you need. You've come to this job well equipped. You didn't come to this job as a dog. You didn't come to this job as a pissant. You came to this job as a human being, and you've got all the frontal cortex you need to be able to do this.
So it's coming out of unworthiness more. Is
Right. You have to see the unworthiness that you have,
yeah.
and come out of it. But you have to see it first. You have to see this red. Now we not only got the relevant color red, we've got a label for it, which is a better thing. Now we begin to see what it is. You've got the word unworthy.
Yes, it's a whole lot of that. A whole lot of
Okay.
it.
Well, the question is, are you unworthy? That's the question you keep asking yourself all the time. Are you unworthy or not? I mean, are you worthy? I'm asking you. Make your choices. Now that you know that you have a choice. Before this, you didn't know you even had a choice to answer that question. Now you know you've got a choice. What's your choice?
No.
No, you're not worthy.
Unworthy, unworthy.
Oh, wait a minute. Now you've changed your mind already from red to green right then and there. I saw that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I believe it, and then the only obstacle to that is something bad will happen. Something
Well,
like
that's the next unwholesome thought. If you
yeah,
can change it from red to green once, you can do it again.
yeah,
So if that thought, oh, I'm not worthy, or oh, something bad will happen, then you can see that too is just unworthy. That's just another unworthy thought. Turn that one from red to green again, over and over and over again. That's why this practice is repetitive. We have to practice it over and over again because you've been wallowing in a sea of red for a long time. And you're going to have to make a raft of green. Well, there's one student we talked about. This is really funny that we have to climb out of our sewer and then start covering the top of it with something that's delicious, like hamburgers. And once you get a layer of 10 or 20 or 30 layers of hamburgers, then you don't have a sewer anymore. But if you throw one little hamburger at a time in your sewer, it's going to become part of the sewage. You need to put a whole lot of over and over and over right effort into this.
yes. I can already see how much effort this is going to be. I already know this. It's a lot of
Mhm.
effort.
Over and over and over again. The effort is easy if you remember that it's easy, and the effort is hard when you think it's hard. Your choice. But you have to keep doing it over and over and over again.
Yes, there's definitely
Mhm.
quite a few times where the state is so negative. It's like, why would the effort is like, it's like the effort to get out of it. It's like, whoa, you know.
But you already know the effort is really easy. We've done red to green many times already in this conversation. Where do you
Yeah,
think now? Oh, I'm stuck again in the red. No, you don't. You can recognize that you ain't stuck. You can change. You can come out of those hindrances
yeah.
and come back into wholesome thoughts immediately by recognizing that you can do it, by seeing that you can do it. You have the power, the permission, and the protection. Wow, what a relief it is. Look how
It's so.
strong you are. You can just handle anything now.
Mm.
If you remember that you can handle anything now.
One big thing that's constantly like just there, like a persistent thing that's there, is a feeling, is like this. Yes, there's a constant like contracted feeling usually around my chest. That's always
That's why
there.
I want you to start taking deeper breaths to break that up. Now we're back into Anapanasati again. Yes, take a deep breath whenever you feel that kind of tension in your chest. Of course, it's going to be in the body. That's why Goenku is doing the scanning stuff.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
doing step 3 of Anapanasati. I'm doing it in a more natural way. When you see that tension, breathe into it. Can you make it change? When you expand your chest, can you expand the tension? When you collapse your chest, can it collapse the tension? Can you move it up higher in the chest? Can you move it down to the belly? Can you play with it like a toy, like a cat with a mouse? Who's in charge here? Oh, poor me, I've got chest tension. Or look at that. I mean, this is your choice, your attitude. If you're practicing Anapanasati, then you take control over that tension in your chest. If you remember that you can breathe right into it.
Yeah.
Who's the boss here? The tension and the anxiety and the, oh, poor me, I can't do it. And, oh, I'm going to get caught if I do this. It's a no-no. And all of that kind of crap. All you have to do is say, hey, man, out of here. I'm the boss now. I am no longer the child that has to put up with all of that stuff. You can change your mind. You can change your attitude. You can change the way you think, as well as individual thoughts. But right now, we have to begin in the beginning of changing each thought that comes up. And you've listed several of them in a row. And so watch for these, because they're going to keep coming up. And every time they do, you change that from red to green, because you know you can do it now.
What's a green thought exactly? Like what or not exactly?
Oh, wow,
for example,
I don't have to do that. Red is a green thought. I see you, red thought is another green thought. Well, I'm glad I don't have to do anything right now. That's a green thought. Oh, I feel so safe and so secure, and everything is all right. Got no problems, no worries. Those are all green thoughts. No place to go and nothing to do, and the spring comes and the grass grows by itself. Those are all green thoughts. Wholesome. And you can have them too. And you can make up a whole list of your own. Like, oh, this feels good. Everything's all right. Everything's fine. No worries, mate. That's Australia. No worries, mate. Mai mi panha in Thai. Not a problem. No worries. That's a green thought. Wow, I can't have green thoughts. That's a red thought.
Yeah. I can't have green thoughts.
You can. Yes, you can. See there, you can have green thoughts. And they're not dangerous at all. Red thoughts are more dangerous.
I see. I see already something really interesting. It's like when I'm around people, when I'm around a lot of people, then the green thoughts is like you cannot have green thoughts around people. But when you're alone, it's like it feels like it's already much easier, you know. But if you're around people, it's like do not have green thoughts. Like you know, stay in the red, kind of thing. Definitely.
Well, guess what? If you stay alone and stay in the green, then you'll be in the habit of being in the green. So when you go around other people, you just kind of stay in the green. You stay joyful. You stay happy. You stay up. Then, in fact, just because they're down doesn't mean you've got to go down with them. That's compassion. You want to stay above. You want to stay light. You want to have enough sugar to really be joyful, with enough sugar left over to dump it all over every one of them. So you need a whole lot of joy, a whole lot of sugar. Where's it going to come from? Well, you got to build it up a little bit at a time. So we're beginning to start doing that. The first little grain of sugar is you can do it.
And when I'm doing this, like around the place and out and about, but when I go to sit, it's the exact same thing. It's just sitting. Like when I go to do sitting, I'm doing the same thing. It's just watching and it's on the breath, doing the breathing in and out, and watching the breath, and then watching the red come up and just gladdening, and keep watching the breath when I'm sitting.
The big point that you have to make sure that you're keeping track of is that which doesn't mention. Goenka does not mention the important part, and that is right noble effort to change it from red to green. You can't just note the unwholesome thoughts. You got to change them. And pretty soon you'll get good enough in it that you know you can change them. But you got to practice first, over and over and over and over. So you begin to get the attitude that you can do this, that you are the boss. You've been practicing a long time. You're the victim.
Yeah.
You have spent your whole life talking yourself into feeling bad. Now it's time for you to practice over and over again, talking yourself into feeling good. You can do it. Every time you catch yourself turning red, check that out. Take a deep breath. Caught ya. And then have a green thought. Wow, it feels good to be not in the red. That's the basic practice. It's the noble path. And that will begin to unify the mind.
Yeah.
Because right now you're at war with yourself. Yes, I can. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Yes, I
That's
can. I
true.
want to so bad. Oh, no, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're unworthy. Yes, I can do that. I went to a Goenka retreat. See, I can do that. Oh, no, when it's time for you to actually make a change, you can't do that. And so back and forth you go inside.
Yeah. Pretty much that's how it goes.
Okay, so you have to see the red when it comes up and change it to the green. Yes, I can. I can be successful. I can feel the way I want to feel. I can get away with that.
You know, see how this practice goes. I'm very looking forward to seeing how this happens. And
Okay, well, I'm glad that you understand. I mean, you've been reading, you've been actually watching some videos, and you
yeah,
came on with you don't even know how to gladden your mind.
yeah,
Now you do. And not only do you know how, but you know that you can, and that you can get away with it,
yeah. I feel like I needed
and
to.
that it's okay for you to do it. So you got everything you need now.
Yeah, I think I have a much better grip on it, because when I was reading and watching, I felt like I just wasn't soaking it in. Like what was what I was looking back at old memories and trying to feel good from memories, and I wrote about, is that the right way to do it? And people were like, no, don't do that. And just, you know, I was doing it really not the right way for a while, you know. So it feels a lot more. I feel like I got more of a grip on it from now. Definitely.
Great. All right. We'll go practice this, put it into whatever you're already practicing, and we will talk about that next time and go a little bit more into
Yeah,
actually anapanasati.
yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll see you later.
All right. See you, Dhammarato. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.